Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi, fantasy, and pop culture commentary. I'm Seven, we have Drew, and we have Corey. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing all right.
Excellent. All right, so let's jump into it. Drew, you said there's a show called Dispatch? What is that about?
It's a game. Yeah, it's a video game, but the way that it plays, you could call it a series. You could call it an animated series. It's got a lot more. It's by the people that does. I don't know if you've seen Vox Machina, Critical Role. Mm-hmm. That writing team, that production group. This is a video game that's their brainchild, and it's kind of unique. It's, of course, the name is Dispatch, but that's because your character, you're in a world of superheroes and stuff, and your character is a quasi-retired superhero who transitions from being an active, his name was Mecha Man. He loses his mech at the beginning, and then becomes basically like a dispatcher for an organization that kind of, it doesn't really, like, keep them captive, but it has what are super villains. They allocate them to, like, basically civic duty. Here's the dispatch, and you send them out to different locations to fix different problems, and based on their skills, their attributes, and just personality traits, you send them to specific jobs. And it's unique. It's a different. I particularly love the writing in it, just because it has that kind of like punchy humor that I think, if you took Marvel stuff when it got really ridiculous with the pop culture references and the one-liners, and then refined it and gave it a little more like the. I don't know if you can call it. It's definitely got its own thing. You know it when you hear it, is their kind of writing. It's very much of now, they got a lot of jokes and stuff, but it's actually paced very well. It's closer to like James Gunn stuff. Okay. Where he kind of knows to mix in the humor with the serious stuff, and then there's the emotional character drama in it. Critical, good for that. I highly recommend Vox Machina. It's a funny show. I would say this one, it fits their style better because a lot of their stuff is modern. The little isms and phrases that they use are closer to what we use nowadays as opposed to Vox Machina, which is more fantasy, RPG, isekai type of stuff. Okay. But video game is quite unique. You decision-making stuff, you allocate different people different resources, and I'd recommend it to folks.
That's cool. Now, when did the game come out?
The first, they do it in episodes. Okay. So I think the first 2 episodes came out like last month, sometime like early last month. Episodes 3 and 4, they got that far at least. As of today, which is November 2nd, they have episodes 4, 3, and 4 up. And I think they're doing this like, if not weekly, bi-weekly, for whatever season or whatever version of this game that they're making for it. And it's mostly PC. You can get it on Steam, you can get it on all that stuff out there.
That's good. That's good. Now we're at the tail end of Halloween, cause over, right? But
it passed, yeah.
How many movies were based on Ed Gein? So there's
movies?
There's so many movies as well as real life horror stories based on this guy. So Netflix has this series out called Monster, the Ed Gein story. And for anyone out there that doesn't know who Ed Gein is, his real life inspired the movie Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock took certain elements of his story, kind of sliced it up and made a movie about it, right? And then you had another director, I can't remember his name right now, but he took the other elements that weren't put into, as we know, Psycho, into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So basically those 2 films is one person, which is scary in itself. But Ed Gein inspired so many serial killers. I mean, Corey, you probably know him a little more than this. Would he be the first serial killer in this country?
No, he would not be the first serial killer.
He's not the first, but he's probably one of the most famous or influential.
He's probably the most prolific.
Yeah, he's well known. Yeah, he's well known, but not the first. Not even. Not even close.
I think he's probably the the first one to have movies based off of him.
Okay.
But definitely not. I wouldn't even say the most prolific.
He's not the most prolific. You could say that like he's definitely one that they inspired a lot from. Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, I think was another one of his.
Right, that's right. Because they showed that in there too. Good call, Drew, on that one. That's right. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, he was the inspiration for Hannibal Lecter, and we speak on this from like a more pop culture horror film buff standpoint, but I just kind of think that this characters like Ed Gein's, real life and fictional, he kind of emphasizes or illustrates people's obsession with serial killers. I don't quite know how to feel about like when you have these biopic series that they make. What was the other one that they did with Zac Efron? You always notice that. Yeah.
The one about Ted Bundy.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. I'm like, and they try to like sexiflexify him. I'm like, you're obsessed with people like this. It's like I get the idea of like exploring the macabre and what psychologically makes these people tick. But shows like Mindhunter, I don't know if you guys ever saw that one.
Yep, I love Mindhunter.
Mindhunter I loved for both seasons that it got, because again, all the good stuff we don't get very many seasons of. But Mindhunter I think was if you were going to showcase real life serial killers,
right,
Mindhunter is the way to do it. It doesn't glamorize, it doesn't sexy flexy them up, it doesn't make them... Well, let's try to empathize with the guy that brutally murdered and ate people. I'm like, let's not. Maybe we could look at it more from the analytical kind of crime procedural standpoint and delve into the psyche of it, rather than trying to make that the main character. And can't wait for season 2. Wonder what our old whippersnapper Eddie's going to be up to this season. It's like they couldn't maintain that with Dexter for very long as a fictional character. So why Ed Gein, Ted Bundy? Right. Sorry, go ahead.
That's an unfair comparison because Mindhunter is based off of the people who built the profile system that we use to find serial killers. And you look at all these other serial killers like Ted Bundy, their real life crimes were sexualized. So it's really a reflection of their crimes put into documentary format. So I don't think we're over sexualizing. I think that the most prolific ones like Ed Gein, Ted Bundy, the ones who did these heinous crimes, usually there's a lot of sexual trauma.
Maybe so, but that doesn't take anything away from the fact that people love glamorizing people like this. I even have more recent examples. Like, who's the guy, Wade Wilson? Not Deadpool. The guy that killed like two some odd women and had a whole swastika on his face. And we have a whole fan following on social media. Right. Oh my God, I can change him. He's so hot. I'm like, that's another example of it. And I think this is just a long series of things that people just innately do. They did this with the...
That's not sexual, and that's real life consequences of people. I don't know. You can say that with a lot of serial killers, that people did gravitate towards them. When you look at people who did... There was a study that they did with like Tinder profiles. They put people who went to prison with all of these heinous crimes against women, and still a lot of women did go for, that profile. So I think that speaks more to the culture rather than them fantasizing about whatever it is that draws them to these people.
And while I don't necessarily disagree, I don't think anything of what you said discredits what I was getting on.
Yeah, they're both
the idea of people. It could be both at the same time. One doesn't necessarily disconnect from the other. You could have both exist at the same time. Yeah. So to add to that, rather than disagree, there's this weird obsession that we have with people that do horrific stuff. It's the bad boy image. It's, to be fair too, the bad girl image. Right. I'm sure we've all seen online that one post. If you go through social media, there's like a line. Which one would you really get out of jail? I'm like,
I saw that one.
This is just part of the culture. It's like it's.
Let me say it again, just because it was a little frozen. Yeah, there's a post and it shows all these women and like which one would you let out of jail, right?
Yeah, obviously the correct answer is none of them. But you have comments. You look in the comments, number 3, number 4. Oh, I get them all. I'm simping for all. I'm like, dude, that's part of it. It's not the main component. To Corey's point, it's not the main component, but it's a component of it. It's like it's still in there, and I think that when you have shows like Monster, you have shows like the Zac Efron Murder Hour, it just kind of reinforces it, and you'll get people that are like not cool with it. There'll be backlash, but you also too have that audience that, oh my god, that's so hot! I can't wait for next week, Zach. Oh my god, like it's
interesting because when you watch the this this drama of this real life person, in the Monster, Alfred Hitchcock's wife in the film was like, I don't want to see this. I don't think you should do this. And it was interesting having that voice saying, this is not cool. You're glorifying, you're putting this person's personality on a pedestal, and he still moved forward with it. And, and now looking back, you see that, that movie became a floodgate for slasher films, showing a lot of blood and gore. A lot of people were inspired by Alfred Hitchcock, and like, well, if you could do this, we can go a lot further. Also in the film, it was very interesting. Ed, the actual individual, he was inspired by comic books, and so just it's the influence of media. How that if someone's mind is already off or already fragile, how films and music and comic books and all these things could really take someone to a dark place.
Well, maybe it can. I'm not going to get on the whole comic books making evil stuff, but I think it's what I'm getting at more. It's the combination of sensationalism, because we've been doing this since guys like Jack the Ripper, right? And even before then too. I'm using that as an example.
Yeah, it's a good example.
When it comes
Jack the Ripper is a good example.
Jack the Ripper is one of the most prolific, and it's like you have stuff that's inspired by him. Varies depending on the genre, who's writing it, what the topic or theme is. But there's that, and then there's the angle of what inspires people to do what. We don't know what inspired Jack the Ripper to do his thing. When it came to Ed Gein, it wasn't just the comics. It was something like you said before, Corey. There's probably trauma in there. There's probably some deep-seated, messed up stuff that Mindhunter, to harp back on that for 2 seconds, it probed and got into the nooks and crannies and uncomfortable backstories of all these guys. Why'd you do this? What is history? What history leads a person to have this mindset and carry out these deeds? I think that's the more responsible way of going about analyzing and exploring serial killers, that whole transgressional thing of what gets a person from point A to point villain, rather than the American Psycho. Whereas Patrick Bateman, and we spend the first 5 minutes, we all watch that workout routine that he has, Patrick Bateman's morning routine, that people then glean the wrong message from. Oh, he's so cool, he has this whole routine, and they play that up, and you forget, this is a monster, bro. You're forgetting, you're getting all caught up in the fluff and presentation and forgetting that you're dealing with a monster. So,
well, that is also the job of the filmmaker. I think there are a lot of things in this short series that were excellent, but they didn't know how to end it. I don't know why people don't know how to end a film, but that's another. It went a little crazy. But I really wish they did play up more the backstory. It was obvious that the mother was abusive. The father was an alcoholic. Also, the religion being forced on him in a way with an abusive mother that had her own issues, and it would. They could have leaned a little bit more on that to prove your point. Drew, we should explore why someone is this way, and maybe somehow see the signs of stopping other individuals being like this, or avoiding it. And to be clear for anyone out there, it wasn't regular comic books. These were pro-Nazi propaganda, taking people and taking their skin and turning it into furniture. Whether true or not true, Ed did it for real, because this is what he read and was like, this is amazing, and I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. Which also lends that maybe he was That's right. We don't really talk about him being pro-Nazi at all. Obviously, if his hero was doing this, I don't know.
Well, it gets that's the uncomfortable truth about that one is it gets downplayed because more Americans than you think are okay with Nazi ideology. So
Gotcha.
they kind of threw that one under the rug because he came from what era? The 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
You have like kind of nuclear family set up where many of them secretly. 40s. I mess up the year.
30s, 40s, yeah.
But yeah, it's like you had generation the post World War II generation, the boomers as we like to call them.
Right.
It's like they walked away with this low-key Nazi ideology, and that's where you get the roots of what became neo-Nazi ideology in America. So he was part of that whole, like, that ilk, and it may have influenced him, maybe it didn't, I don't really know, but when it comes to the psychology of it, yeah, there you can see the check marks on where he may have gone left.
I think this is an unfair conversation because this was to what Drew alluded to is the point of Mindhunter is trying to find out why these things happen. And I think that's the fascination. And I think that's why in society we pass down these stories as cautionary tales. I don't think we're glorifying them like we are today, but because there are a lot of things we'll never know. We don't know why the mom was abusive. We don't know what she went through. We don't know the lineage of, the family dynamic. So in Mindhunter, I think the first one that they talked to was, what was his name?
Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper, yeah. He was highly functioning and he was able to articulate his desires, his feelings, but not every serial killer has that. You can't really, I think most people can't tell you why they make certain decisions, why they are attracted to certain things that they're attracted to. I think the mystery of it is alluring to us as a society, and I think that's why we like these crime documentaries, to try to figure things out that's very impossible to figure out.
We have an idea through psychology and studying, and a lot of it has to do. There are consistent elements of abuse, but there are also people want to feel empowered. And here's a character that could do whatever he wants when he wants to do it. And I remember, totally different show, but Corey, you were the MC of this show, and you were talking about kinks, and everybody has their own thing. So, I think a lot of times these stories, these individuals open up doors where someone wants to, and if certain individuals want to lean into it even more, and there isn't that thing that says this is bad. Oh, well, this person did it, and they took it even further, so I can go that route as well.
So to a susceptible mind, to someone who, all right, it's like this.
Right.
The nebbish nerd, the person that gets picked on, you often find there's like a history of abuse with these people when you go back and look at just how they got down.
Right.
Other people take strength from the idea of retribution.
Right.
If you were the downtrodden, if you were the weak one at one point, you always dream about getting that payback, right?
Yeah.
All of us kind of think that whatever ilk, whatever walk of life that you are, if you've ever felt like, done dirty by the society around you, by people around you,
right,
you imagine what that payback would look like. Serial killers give certain people, or this audience rather, the ability to kind of put themselves in that revenge spot and then vicariously act out of a horrific deed.
That's also not there.
Right.
No, Stephen King wrote a book about this. It's like, why do we go and watch horror movies in the theaters? The process, the ritual of it is we go to the theaters, we're all in the dark, and we're watching horrific things take place, but we're a step removed. We get to watch the spectacle, we can watch Jason do his thing, we can watch Ed Kemper do his thing to his mother, and we can be a witness and watch that type of retribution get played out, whatever it is, and be kind of safe in the fact that, well, I'm not doing it, I'm just watching. I'm just the audience member. That's that curiosity I think that you're referring to.
I really disagree with that because of two things. I think we as a society, we love adrenaline, right? We love to be scared, right? And so to watch these things happen, if you see someone sneak up on someone and choke them out in a movie, that's completely different than seeing someone on the street walk up to someone and choke them out. It's a completely different experience. I don't think anyone's going to sit there and really have the same feeling.
Disagreement to that. I disagree to that. Because because when you see crap bust out nowadays, most people run away, yes? Mm-hmm. However, you have a huge section of other people that do what nowadays when there's something crazy pops off?
No, they record it.
Make sure you get the whole thing, you guys. So when it comes
to different feelings, though. That's exactly what I'm saying. It is because you're recording a crime, but you're not feeling the same feelings that you are in a theater. You're not sitting here watching it for enjoyment. You're actually scared, terrified, because you don't want to approach, and you have the bystander effect, which is what it's called. You're videotaping the crime for evidence later because you don't want to involve yourself with that. When you're in a movie theater, you're not involved on the screen. You're watching it for enjoyment. If you're watching a crime in person, you're not there enjoying it. It's
the next level. It's the next level. It's what people have ascended to past going to the movies and watching something horrific. Let me watch it in real life and record it. That way, I can show it to the cops, or I can put it on World Star.
And I can be a star. For it. And I can get the props.
It doesn't matter now.
My voice.
It's like my first film. You guys, check it out. This is what I recorded. Look what I did. Right. You're really downplaying how often people do that, Corey. I think that's a little bit of a disingenuous argument. I think it's a little bit of a disingenuous argument because more people than you're willing to acknowledge do it for the lulz. It's not, oh my God, let me get evidence. My adrenaline is up. Let me record this. This is wild.
Right.
World star.
Well, actually, you know what? This is.
I will concede to that.
I want to definitely. I definitely would like to. Well, I guess we could say it with this episode because I don't think we have much time for the other films. We could do another episode. We have time, but
we lost the plot. Nope.
I have one more point though.
You lost the what?
Though. The plot. But I do have one more point to make. There's a documentary called Crazy Not Insane, and if you watch it, there's a psychiatrist who talks about a lot of these serial killers and people who are in jail who really don't have what Seven was alluding to. They don't have the mental capacity to say this is right, this is wrong. They really don't have that processes because of the damage to the brain, because of abuse that happened earlier. So physically, there's reasons why people are serial killers and things like that. That's a good documentary to watch. It's called Crazy Not Insane.
I think I've heard about this.
But you know what?
Biochemical component of that.
This would make sense to bring this within this episode, so I'll save my other thought for later on. But watching The Monster, right? We don't know, was he that brilliant to fool them to think that he was nuts? Or because he was very calculated. How did he not, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, and this is also why a lot of people glorified him, because they were like, he didn't go to regular jail. He got away with, he just said, oh, I'm crazy. He got away with everything. He lived a cushy life until he died. You know? So this whole thing of I can get over is very attracted to people. Very attractive to people. And to Drew's point, like, it's about ego, it's about a certain sense of empowerment. I could do what I want to do, and now it's translated into social media where I don't think it's maybe years ago, but I don't think now people are first saying, hey, I need to capture this so the news, and it's, I want likes. I want to upload this so I could feel, I don't know, important.
A fight broke out. Let me do my civic duty and record it for later. That's not most people.
That's a fight. That's not someone getting murdered. That's two different things, but I understand what you're saying.
It's the same thing. A shootout breaks up. Oh my God! Record it. Record it. It's like you want the footage for later, I guess. But if you live,
everybody's not press.
I still remember there was a couple of comments like, if this is how I go out, you want to record what happened because you want the person, whoever took you out, to face justice later. That's what I've heard. So I hear you. No,
I'm sure that's a motive too. If it's your last act, if you know that someone's about to punch your ticket in a violent way, I'm like, I'm gonna leave something behind that gets you caught, homie. That's your last deed on this earth, I guess. That makes sense.
I mean,
so that's where I was coming from.
Yeah, I agree with you, Corey, and I think that there's a certain amount of people that do have that mindset, but I think the disease of everybody wants to have a voice, everyone wants to be famous, has far shot over that responsible wanting to help people. I think it has become more self-serving.
Oh, there was a show we were watching. I can't remember. It was it had Zazie Beetz, and she played a journalist, and she was chasing a story. And there was a lady, like a famous actress, who disappeared. I can't remember the name of the show, but this actress was held up in like this mansion. And she turned into a werewolf, and then Zazie Beetz was running for her life.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
I think I saw. Yeah.
I understand where you guys are coming from. It was like the glorifying what you're explaining. Journalists trying to, find the story to get them famous to take that step up. So they put themselves in danger. I understand that, but I still think that's a small percentage versus, I think, a majority.
That's because you're a really nice guy, and you're loving, and you think the best, and if I may say, Drew and myself are a little bit more cynical.
Superman fan, Corey. You're a Superman fan through and through. I believe in the goodness of the people. I'm Batman. I'm
Batman. I'm a God. I got a shot fired on that. Yeah.
Blow something up, Seven. Quick.
I sure did. We're in the cave. You're in the castle, the Crystal Castle. Oh man, how much more time we got? All right, we're almost up, but that's crazy. But anyway, I would say check it out. It's a good. I would challenge anyone that sees it. Look for the loopholes. Look for the things that could have been better. There's definitely some sensational moments. I think some were necessary and some weren't. But you know what? That's the thing, Drew. Watch it. Did you see it, Drew? You did see it, right?
I started it and I didn't get to finish it.
Yeah. I think that there are moments where they tried to make it stimulating and sexy, and sometimes I really wonder, even with the flashbacks and is this really happening, not happening, were they really trying to get us in the mindset of Ed, where some things aren't clear? Because that could be an artistic choice too, to kind of take you through. But because I think the consistency of the shots and the editing, there wasn't enough of a commitment to give me that excuse that you were trying to really get us into the what really happened, what didn't. Because if you're gonna do that, you gotta go all the way to do it or not do it. It felt like a documentary, but then it felt like a drama. Then it felt like you wanted it to be more titillating, if that's the word, right?
Yeah.
It was weird.
I kind of got from what I recall, it was going a little too much for that. Like, I'm supposed to empathize with the character rather than analyze, which
Right.
That's a little bit of a weird spot. It gets murky for me, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Especially because of the subject matter.
It's like, no, I say this because my direct comparison is like American Psycho. It's like you're supposed to hate Patrick. He's Mr. Glamour. He's Mr. 80s yuppie. But I'm like, dude, you're despicable. Right. You're a piece of crap. The Netflix show with Ed Gamians, from what I saw, because I only got like an episode, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going for that or it's trying to like make me actually like him. So I
feel sorry for him. Right.
I feel so. Yeah. I go, what did he go through? All that poor guy.
No. All right, so you're watching GEEKCASTER. Go to GEEKCASTER.com. GEEKCASTER on Instagram. You want to watch all the different shows, go on YouTube. But GEEKCASTER.com has all the connects. That's the easy way to do it. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Corey. Seven. And if you're watching us on cable, we appreciate you. All right, we're out.